Justin Pierre James Trudeau is a Canadian politician who is the 23rd and current Prime Minister of Canada since November 2015 and the leader of the Liberal Party since April 2013. Trudeau is the second youngest Prime Minister in Canadian history after Joe Clark. He is also the first to be the child or other relative of a previous holder of the post as the eldest son of Pierre Trudeau. Born in Ottawa, Trudeau attended College John de Brébeuf, graduated from McGill University in 1994 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Literature. Then, in 1998, acquired a Bachelor of Education degree from the University of British Columbia. After graduating, he taught French, Humanities, Math, and drama at the secondary school level in Vancouver, initially relocating back to Montreal in 2002 to further his studies. Advocacy work related to youth and environmental issues would be his primary focus, serving as chair for the youth charity Katimivik and as a director of the not-for-profit Canadian Avalanche Association. In 2006, he was appointed as a chair of the Liberal Party's Task Force on Youth Renewal. After successful campaigning during the 2008 federal election, he was elected to present the riding of Papineau in the House of Commons. He served as the Liberal Party's official opposition critic for youth and multiculturalism in 2009, and the following year he became critic for citizenship and immigration in 2011. He was appointed as a critic for secondary education and sport. Trudeau won the leadership of the Liberal Party in April 2013 and led his party to victory in the 2015 federal election, moving the third-place Liberal from 36 seats to 184 seats, the largest ever numerical increase by a party in Canadian federal election. As Prime Minister, major government initiative he undertook during his first term include legalizing recreational marijuana through the Cannabis Act, attempting Senate appointment reform by establishing the Independent Advisory Board for Senate appointments and establishing the federal carbon tax, while grappling with ethics investigations concerning the Agahan affair and later the CNC-Lavalin affair. In foreign policy, Trudeau's government negotiated trade deals such as the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement USMCA, as the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and signing the Paris Agreement on climate change. Trudeau led the Liberals to consecutive minority governments in the 2019 and 2021 federal elections. During his second term, he confronted the COVID-19 pandemic in Canada, announced an assault-style weapons ban in response to the 2020 Nova Scotia attacks, and was cleared of wrongdoing during a third ethics investigation surrounding the We Charity scandal. In foreign policy, he led Canada's failed 2000 bid on temporary membership of the United Nations Security Council. Trudeau has a Bachelor of Arts degree in Literature from McGill University and a Bachelor of Education degree from the University of British Columbia. In his first year at McGill, Trudeau became acquainted with his future principal secretary, Gerald Butts, through their mutual friend, Jonathan Ablett. Butts invited Trudeau to join the McGill Debating Union. They bonded while driving back to Montreal after a debate tournament at Princeton University, in which the Princeton team included Ted Cruz, who would go on to be elected a U.S. Senator for Texas in 2013 and be candidate for the U.S. Republican Party's presidential nomination in 2016. After graduation, Trudeau stayed in Vancouver, where he became a substitute teacher at local schools such as Killarney Secondary and worked permanently as a French and math teacher at the private West Point Grey Academy. He became a roommate at the Douglas Lodge with fellow West Point Grey Academy faculty member and friend and Christopher Ingvaldsen from 2002 to 2004. He studied engineering at the École Polytechnique de Montréal, affiliated with Université de Montréal. He started a master's degree in environmental geography at McGill, but withdrew from the program to seek public office. In 2007, Trudeau starred in the two-part CBC television miniseries The Great War, which gave an account of Canada's participation in the First World War. He portrayed his fifth cousin, twice removed Major Talbot Mercer Papineau, who was killed on October 30, 1917, during the Battle of Passchendaele. Trudeau is one of several children of former prime ministers who have become Canadian media personalities. The other are Ben Mulroney, son of Brian Mulroney, Catherine Clark, daughter of Joe Clark, and Trudeau's younger brother, Alexander. Ben Mulroney was a guest at Trudeau's wedding. Trudeau supported the Liberal Party from a young age, offering his support to party leader John Turner in the 1988 federal election. 2 years later, he defended Canadian federalism at a student event at the Collège Jean de Brébeuf, which he attended. Prime Minister Stephen Harper called an election for October 14, 2008, by which time Trudeau had been campaigning for a year in Papineau. On election day, Trudeau narrowly defeated Bloc Québécois incumbent Vivian Barbot, following his election win. Edward Greenspoon, editor-in-chief of the Globe and Mail, noted that Trudeau would be viewed, as few other Wookiee MPs are, as a potential future prime minister and scrutinized through that lens. This after winning his party's leadership. A poll showed that the Liberal Party was the choice of 43% of respondents. This compared to 30% for the governing Conservatives and 19% for the official opposition New Democrats. In 2013, Trudeau chose to give up his seat at the funeral of Nelson Mandela in deference to Irwin Cotler as representative of the Liberal Party of Canada because of Cotler's work for and with Nelson Mandela in fighting apartheid. During the leadership campaign, Trudeau pledged to park all his assets, exclusive of real estate holdings, into a blank trust, which as typical for oppositions MPs, including leaders. According to documents obtained by the Ottawa Citizen, he fulfilled the pledge in July 2013 when the blank trust was set up by BMO Private Banking. On January 27, 2014, Trudeau and MP Caroline Bennett escorted Chrystia Freeland into the House of Commons. As is traditional for by-election victors, Trudeau launched an internet video the week before the 2013 Liberal Party convention titled An Economy That Benefits Us All, in which he narrates his economic platform. He said that Canada's debt to GDP ratios have come down in recent years and now it's time for Ottawa to set up. On October 19, 2015, after the longest official campaign in over a century, Trudeau led the Liberals to a decisive victory in the federal election. The Liberals won 184 of the 338 seats, with 39.5% of the popular vote for a strong majority government, again of 150 seats compared to the 2011 federal election. This was the second best performance in the party's history. The Liberals won mostly on the strength of a solid performance in the eastern half of the country. In addition to taking all of Atlantic Canada and Toronto, they won 40 seats in Quebec, the most that the Liberals had won in that province since Trudeau's father led them to a near sweep of the province in 1980, and also the first time since then that the Liberals won a majority of Quebec seats in an election. The 150 seat gain was the biggest numerical increase for a single party since Confederation and marked the first time that a party had rebounded from third place in the Commons to a majority government. In addition to the appeal of his party's platform, Trudeau's success has been credited to this performance both on the campaign trail and television, leaders' debates exceeding the lurid expectations created by conservative advertisements and conservative media outlets. The Trudeau government's economic policy initially relied on increased tax revenues to pay for increased government spending. While the government did not balance the budget in the first term, it reduced Canada's debt to GDP ratio every year until 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Trudeau's progressive social policy has included strong advocacy for feminism and abortion rights. His government introduced the bill that made conversation therapies illegal in Canada. In his first term, Canada set targets to welcome an increased number of immigrants and refugees. Canada introduced the right to medically assisted dying in 2016 and legalized cannabis for recreational use in 2018. In 2021, Trudeau announced the creation of a national childcare plan with the intention of reducing daycare fees for parents down to $10 a day per child within 5 years. His environmental policy included introducing new commitments to reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 30% before 2013 and to achieve net zero emissions by 2015. His main tool for reaching this target is a federal carbon pricing policy. Trudeau's parliament also adopted legislation for marine conservation, banning 6 common single-use plastic products, and strengthening environmental impact assessments. However, Trudeau is in favor of oil and gas pipelines to bring Canadian fossil fuel resources to foreign markets. Trudeau first met Sophie Gregory when they were both children growing up in Montreal. Gregory was a classmate and childhood friend of Trudeau's youngest brother, Michel. They reconnected as adults in June 2003, when Gregory, by then a Quebec television personality, was assigned as Trudeau's co-host for a charity ball. They began dating several months later. Trudeau and Gregory became engaged in October 2004 and married on May 28, 2005 in a ceremony at Montreal Sainte Madeleine d'Outremont Church. They have 3 children, a boy, Xavier, born in 2007, a girl, Ella Grace, born in 2009, and a boy, Hadrian, born in 2014. In June 2013, 2 months after Trudeau became the leader of the Liberal Party, the couple sold their home in the Côte de Neige neighborhood of Montreal. They began living in a rented home of Ottawa's Rockcliffe Park, the neighborhood near where Trudeau resided as a child during his father's time as Prime Minister. On August 18, 2014, an intruder broke into the house while Gregory and the couple's 3 children were sleeping and left a threatening note. However, nothing was stolen and there was no damage to the property. Following the incident, Trudeau, who was in Winnipeg at the time of the break-in, stated his intention to inquire with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police about his home security. After his 2015 electoral victory, Trudeau opted to live at Trudeau Cottage on the grounds of Rideau Hall until necessary repairs are completed at 24 Sussex to make it habitable. On March 12, 2020, the Trudeau family self-isolated at their Rideau home in Ottawa after his wife began exhibiting flu-like symptoms and later tested positive for COVID-19. By March 28, she had recovered. On January 31, 2022, Trudeau announced on Twitter that he tested positive for COVID-19. Religion: Trudeau's father was a devout Roman Catholic and his mother converted from Anglicanism to Catholicism just prior to their wedding. He became a lapsed Catholic at age 18, as he felt that much of his day-to-day life was not addressed by the formality and stricture of the church. Trudeau described his faith during this period, as like so many Catholics across this country, I said, okay, I'm Catholic, I'm of faith, but I'm just not really going to go to church. Maybe on Easter, maybe midnight mass, at Christmas. After the death of his brother Michel in 1998, Trudeau was persuaded by a friend to participate in an Alpha course, during which he regained his faith. In 2011, Trudeau started, "My own personal faith is an extremely important part of who I am and the values that I try to lead with." Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new WikiTube, the first audiovisual encyclopedia in the English version.